Okay, and awesome. Okay, well, welcome everybody to the webinar today with LendingUSA. I'm Ryan Thogmartin with connectingdirectors.com. Thank you for tuning in. And I have Elaine from LendingUSA with me. Elaine, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about LendingUSA.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elaine Valdez, and I am with LendingUSA. I think a lot of you have probably seen us the last couple years in this space. We are pretty new as an option for the profession, but we offer point of sale and at-need financing option for funeral directors and their businesses to be able to offer to the families that they serve. So I know it's something new for our industry. I've been in the funeral space for over 15 years myself. Worked for a privately owned firm before joining LendingUSA a couple of years ago. So I definitely know the need. I always tell our funeral partners that I think we've all seen the change the last couple of years and the need for something like this. So hoping to get you guys some great information today and just get you guys partnered with us, hopefully.
That's awesome. Like, it's so funny to me, like, not really funny, but being in the profession for so long where lending wasn't an option. Like, I can take my dog to the vet and do, have payment options. Like, we have payment options for absolutely everything. So, what makes LendingUSA so valuable in the funeral space from that perspective?
Well, it's funny that you even say that because even the simplest thing of nowadays, everybody has a cell phone, right? You walk into a cell phone store and you're going to be able to finance that phone. You're doing payments over,
Right.
course of a certain time frame. But yeah, financing is available for everything. What I like to compare us to is like pre-need. You know how common pre-need is in a funeral home? You walk in, you ask about pre-need, everyone's going to say
Yeah.
yes, they have it.
Right.
So we're very similar as an option, but we're on the at-need side.
Okay.
What I really appreciate about our platform is we are, our goal is to partner with the funeral home as a business partner, and we get them set up to be able to offer us to every family walking in their door. So we create a customized portal for them where they can log in at any time. They can have website banners. They can even just send a family directly to us at lendingusa.com. And what's great about our option is if a family gets approved and we fund the funeral expenses, we pay the funeral home directly. So funds aren't released to the family directly. They go straight into the bank account for the funeral home.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something that we take a lot of pride in because there are other lenders that pop up here and there, kind of promising this and that, but we are the only ones that do that. We do direct deposit to the business. Another thing that we're really proud about is we are endorsed by the NFDA. That's been a very valuable partnership for us. We're, very thankful for the endorsement, and we're also endorsed by 12 of the largest state associations across the United States.
Okay.
So that's new for us as well. We've used those as our gold stars because that's important. You have to
Right.
be kind of given that gold seal that you are, a company that they're standing behind. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like, who's the perfect, like, what's the perfect family for
oh
LendingUSA through the funeral home?
gosh, so I always say we want to be an option for every family walking in the door, right? Because you
Okay.
can't assume, by looking at a
Right.
family, oh, they're going to need this, they're going to need that. And, we definitely are an option to look at as just a new form of payment. When you're discussing payment options, I always tell funeral directors, I think when you've been in this profession, a lot of us can relate as far as the families you're serving, right? And I'll ask them, okay, if you can't say no yes to these three questions, then we aren't for you, right? And the three questions I always ask are, have you ever had a family who had an unexpected loss? And everyone's going to say yes, right? Because it's something we all have been through. Have you ever had a family that came in and relied solely on an insurance policy to pay you? And
Yeah.
maybe it didn't check out, or beneficiary wasn't around, or it was a group policy through an employer. And it's devastating when you can't honor it, or death certificate is deferred, things like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe you had a family that relied solely on credit cards to pay you. They have to split it amongst all these family members and max out their credit. So we are an option for every family walking in the door, even if you think they look prepared. You never know their circumstances. a lot of the stats that we're able to kind of just review that is kind of mind blowing to us is that, 50% of Americans have, I think 70% or more of their credit being used on their credit cards.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big stat. 50%, 5 in 10 people are almost maxed out on their credit cards. 58% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings, and 38% have zero.
Wow.
So I think especially right now with, this horrible pandemic everyone's going through and dealing with, and you see families losing their jobs, is to think that most of those families don't have, savings in the
Yeah.
bank that they're going to be able to use toward a funeral expense.
Right.
40% struggle with paying a $400 unexpected expense. So, what better time to have an option like, at need financing for your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you seeing families in the funeral homes opting for the service that they really want when they find out that there's lending options available?
What we see this so commonly is we get a funeral director that will share with us, we had a family come in and they thought they were going to be able to only do a cremation. But once they've seen, okay, you know what? We got approved, we have some flexibility here. They're able to upgrade and get the service that they really want, which is really important, because if you have a family and they're thinking, gosh, all we have is this set budget, and you can see them as you're kind of giving them options, showing them what they can get, they start to get a little nervous and maybe start asking, well, how much is that going to
Right.
cost? How much is that going to cost? So if you're giving them an option like this gives them some room to be able to upgrade to what they really want, and also just help the business, kind of with that additional revenue, which is a big deal for a lot of funeral firms right now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, what kind of problems are you addressing with like you're solving problems for funeral homes? I think every business when it's created, right? You're fixing a problem, you're becoming the solution. What do you think that number one solution is that Lending USA is becoming for funeral homes?
I want to say, I think probably one of the biggest is just helping the funeral homes get paid in full. I hear it all the time where, I think a funeral director, their heart is big, and
Yeah,
they overextend themselves in the business sometimes because they're just trying to help. And I think a lot of them end up getting accounts receivables, or you get the family that you just don't have an option for. So we're definitely helping with just being able to get the business paid, because you have a team to worry about, right? You have
mhm,
a business to keep open, you have a community to serve. So you need to be paid for the services that, your firm can offer. And
that's right.
um, I think when a family applies with us, they'll know right off the bat, okay, you know what, we're securing payment now, which is a big deal. And it's a more and more common issue that's coming up for a lot of funeral homes. They get
For sure.
asked more often, do you have payment plans? Can we pay you in a few months? Or, what can we do here? How can we discount this down? We only have this. So we're trying to fill that void. We're trying to be the resource in those scenarios.
And I think it's important too, like the funeral home doesn't have to now be the collector of those payments either. They're not the bad guy. You're doing it for them.
Yeah, exactly. Which we don't want to be the bad guy either.
Of course, of course.
But no, we definitely, anytime we do an onboarding call with the new partner, I always would stress, just make sure you're treating us just like your pre-need company,
Mhm.
right? You have a family who you're directing toward, that company to go ahead and finalize and get your payments in. And so anytime a family were to call or wonder this, wonder that, they're free to call us. We have a funeral support team at Lending USA that you guys can reach us on a direct line to. We're more than glad to help the families. And half of our team come from the funeral profession as well, which we take a lot of pride in, because we can give that extra care, extra compassion to the
Mm.
families that are calling in for help. But yeah, I mean, we're the ones that can be the one to let the families know, yes, you've been approved. We'll take care of this. We're going to get the funeral home paid for you, and we'll let the funeral home know, hey, we go secure these funds for you. It's going to be in your bank account in just a few days. Or in a scenario where we couldn't get them approved, unfortunately, I'm sorry, and the funeral home can come back and say, I'm sorry you weren't approved, but this is what we can do for you.
Yeah,
So hopefully we can be more of a resource in that area.
for sure. I mean, do you think families expect to have payment options when they walk into a funeral home?
Believe it or not, I think it's a very common question. And I think they do a lot of the time. And, I see a lot online. I'm very big on social media, and I try to, stay up to speed with the groups. And I think it's something that some funeral directors may get frustrated about too, because they're offering a service, and when they have to tell a family, no, there aren't payment options available. They can get the frustration taken out on them. So,
Right.
it's something that is gonna getting bigger every year. It's just gonna get bigger and bigger as an option needed.
Well, you and I were talking about earlier, like there's literally payment options for everything. Like if I buy a couch, there's a payment option. If I buy a car, there's payment. Like I think we're conditioned as consumers on almost every, not even high ticket item, but definitely every high ticket item, we have the option to have some sort of monthly payment.
Hmm.
And, to just think that that's not available on the average cost of an $8,000 burial across the country just seems, absolutely crazy when you just gave us the statistics that 58% of people have less than $1,000 to their name to be able to pay for something like that. So it's no wonder if when we don't have options like that available, why there's choices made by families, and we scratch our head wondering why they made these choices. Well, I mean, not everybody wants to come in and talk about their financial woes. So
Oh yeah, and it's
yeah.
especially when it comes to a funeral. I don't think you can ever be as prepared as you should be, right? And most families are just trying to get through the day to days, keeping their household afloat.
Mhm.
So when you inherit the expense of funeral cost, that could be very, very scary, very frustrating. And, every family is different that you're serving, right? So
Right.
some could be a united family, they're going to work together, they're going to figure it out. But then you get a scenario where they're not as united. You see the power struggles, and you're wondering who's going to take care of this. And the funeral homes and cemeteries are the people in the middle sometimes, and that's hard. That's very stressful. But at the end of the day, they have a business to run, and they need to be paid.
Sure.
And like you said, we're conditioned to expect monthly
Yeah.
payments. And we anytime we do the NFTA, we do an NFTA presentation at the convention every year. It's Mike Test, our president, and myself, and he has a slide, and it shows just different pictures of what financing is available for what. So it shows like a bride, with her huge dress. It shows a car, the newest truck,
Yeah.
but all of that stuff is monthly payments available.
Yeah.
So funeral homes should be able to be comfortable enough to have this as an option, and I'm not afraid of it. It's just something new, and it's something to help get the burden off of you, to be able to be okay with collecting payment in full.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting as a consumer when we purchase things, we don't necessarily look at the ticket price as much as we start calculating what the monthly price is going to be.
That you're right.
And
Yeah.
like what can we afford each month to be able to make this work? And even like vacations, like how can we go on this really nice vacation? Like what's the monthly payment that we need to make to be able to make this happen? And just to have that option. And I especially think kind of like right now in the time period that we're in, like the
Hmm.
entire profession is kind of the entire globe has really been rocked over the last couple of months, and specifically here in the United States over the last couple of weeks. And
Yeah,
funeral homes
even
are,
just couple weeks, the last 2 weeks have
yes,
been so critical for everybody, and the shift of dealing with this pandemic. I don't think anybody thought going into the month of March, any of us would be dealing with these changes
absolutely
in
not.
the industry alone. And I spoke to a funeral director just last week in Florida, and they said that for the week they had met with 7 families. 5 out of the 7 families have been affected with the layoffs associated with
Yeah,
all of this pandemic. And they were all in the hospitality industry. And one of the family members told the funeral director, like, I have my credit cards, but I just can't max them out right now.
mhm,
I'm going to need to rely on these for God knows how long.
sure.
So she needed another option. And sure enough, she applied with us. We were able to give her that wiggle room with, okay, you know what? You have a promo period. We offer every family 6 months to be able to pay, the funeral expenses back to us, and we'll be able to erase the interest. All they pay is our processing fee, but it just gives them time, to
Yeah,
figure things out. And we all know within a small window of time that a funeral is going to take place. Um, sometimes families need more time than that.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
And, I think that that's just, I mean, that's the key, right? Like giving that family options. And, we hear that more and more on the supplier side of different options. We have options for caskets, urns, everything. And when the family has the freedom to make that choice and there's a finance option available, like it's going to make that conversation a whole lot easier, and it's probably going to make that relationship with the funeral home a little less strained as well. Are you able to, let's say it's, a brother and sister that are making the arrangements, are they able to split the payments to Lending USA like between them? Is that possible with family
That's a great
members?
question. Yeah, so we actually because we're such a new option, technology itself can be scary, but we try to be as flexible as we can as far as what we're able to provide our partners to have as an option. So some funeral directors prefer to be hands-on, so they can have a
Yeah.
family come in, sit with them, and they can have as many family members apply as needed. So
Okay.
let's say you have a funeral of $5,000, you have 5 family members, each can apply for $1,000, and they all get approved. We can use that to go toward the bill. But yeah, you can definitely do multiple family members to apply. You may get a scenario as well where maybe the family is in a full room of family members and then maybe they're a little worried. They're not sure what their credit looks like. They're not sure if they'll get approved. So we offer something more private where a family member can go on our site and apply in private from a cell phone if needed.
Okay.
So, and that happens very often. Funeral home will give a family a brochure and the family secretly will go to Lending USA and apply. And then we call them with the good news. Hey, we have a family member that got approved for you. And a lot of the time they say, oh, we didn't even know that they were going to apply. So
That's awesome.
um, definitely that flexibility as a big family can apply, multiple family members have that option.
That's fantastic. I mean, that just makes it easier and makes the conversation easier. For the funeral home, like one of the topics I think that's at every conference and is discussed is price shoppers. And so, like, how does having payment options address that price shopper question?
So it's a huge one because I know a lot of the time the price shoppers that you may typically get on a phone call or maybe an imminent family,
Mhm,
maybe
mhm.
someone who is about to pass away, and you may even get a hospice nurse, who's calling you trying to gather info for that family. So what's great about our platform is if a family is just needing the information, maybe needing the comfort of knowing, okay, we got this approval sitting. If they apply with the funeral home that is partnered with us and get approved, the approval can sit for 30 days before it expires. So
Wow.
they have that whole month
Okay.
to just kind of get through, spending time with their loved one at the end. And the funeral home can secure that family, have them let them know you got a pre-approval here. It's going to sit for a month till you're ready to finalize. But it's always a huge, huge winning point for our funeral homes who are able to tell a family on the phone, we offer payment plans through a partner and go ahead and apply and see if you qualify. So it helps secure a lot of business for our partners.
Okay, that was a question that I was gonna ask,
Mhm.
and answer it if you want to, but like are you seeing funeral homes that are your clients not grabbing, but getting more market share because they offer payments versus a competitor that doesn't?
So what's interesting about that is we have a feature on our main site and it's for consumers alone. So
Okay,
in a scenario where it's somebody who's just searching for who offers payment options, a consumer can go to our main site, so lendingusa.com, they can apply and they're given a directory of all of the funeral homes in our network within 100 miles of them
okay.
to offer payment plans. So they can price shop on their own and then go to our site and select the funeral home they want to work with. So it also brings, I would say, like a free lead to the funeral home. You
Yeah,
know,
I was just gonna say you're a
they're
lead
getting
driver.
business that they weren't expecting. Sometimes consumers just call in and say, well, how do I apply? I just want to see what I get approved for before I even select a funeral home. So we have a team here that will help guide them through an application, get them pre-approved, and then have them partnered with one of our partners.
That's awesome. Okay, we've got a question here.
Sure.
Um, is there a minimum credit score to be approved?
That's a great question. So with our platform, our minimum credit score is a 620.
Okay.
So 620 and above is what we're able to help approve.
But like you said, though, that could be 5 family members trying to apply for a certain amount, right?
Yes, and another thing to know is when we run the credit, we only run a soft pull on the credit.
Okay.
So that means it's a free credit check. It's not going to stick on their credit. So even if they're just curious to see, can I help a family member or can
Hmm.
I help a friend, they can check for free. It's not going to hurt them.
Very good. Very good. All right. One more question that just
Mhm.
came through. You had mentioned about consumers going to Lending USA and then finding a funeral home via there. How would a
Mhm.
consumer know to go to Lending USA?
So what's really funny about this is nowadays everyone's online. They're
Right.
searching. They're searching for the options they need. And we get consumers who are just on Google searching for who offers funeral financing. Consumers don't really know the term at need financing. That's more of, I think,
Correct.
within the space we as professionals, we can categorize a family who's an at need family or imminent family, but they do look for funeral financing. So they search on the web. Sometimes they may be referred by a hospice that knows of us, or sometimes they went into a funeral home and got a price list and seen our brochure there and grabbed it.
Hmm.
So consumers are smart. They do their research.
Well, I mean, it absolutely is a marketing advantage, I think, for a funeral home. We work with a number of firms that utilize Lending USA, and it makes great social media content when you can educate your community
Hmm.
about payment options that's available through the funeral home, because it paints a picture that not every funeral home is going to offer that, and the consumer thinks, well, that's the funeral home where I can get payment options. So I mean, I think that's a huge advantage. But talk about this. I see some chatter on it. How this is low risk to the funeral home, and you have that kind of as a talking point too. Like why is it so low risk to the funeral home? What does that mean?
So this is probably one of the most important questions we get asked when we're getting ready to set them up to hit the ground running. And they say, well, wait a minute, what if the family doesn't pay you back? So that's the beauty of our platform is we offer no recourse to the
Okay.
funeral home. So family gets approved. They sign their electronic loan documents with us. We fund the business, and their first payment's due in about a month and a half. And but the funeral home will be paid within just a few days, direct deposit. But if for some reason the family defaults on the loan, there's never recourse to our partner. So they're not hit with the chargeback. They're not responsible to return the funds to us. So that's just part of the way our platform is set up. Um, Another reason why is we're just a great resource to have.
Hmm.
We don't even notify actually the business if a family defaults. That's between us and the family. We do our best to work with them the best we can so we can try to secure the payment from them, but it's nothing that we are involving in the funeral home after the fact.
Love it. And so if there's a life insurance policy that's in play, but that life insurance policy doesn't cover the full funeral, is the family able to get Lending USA payments via like through for just that portion that is unmet by the
So
life
we
insurance
are,
policy?
yeah, we are a huge resource for families who are, back to again relying on that life insurance policy to take care of everything in full. Sometimes they aren't able to get everything verified in time, or maybe it's not assignable to the funeral home, but when the death certificate comes in, they can claim payment. So we again push that promo period, 6 months, pay us off, we'll erase your interest. And a lot of our families take advantage of that window, the 6 month window of just some flexibility there to kind of get either just even the estate in order, kind of
Hmm.
go through everything, find documents. But that promo period is a big deal for a lot of families.
Yeah. One of the things that when I first started going to funeral conferences 16 years ago and listening to funeral directors talk, I heard these stories of funeral homes that were, doing in little rural farm communities where, Mr. Jones would come in every week, he'd drop a pile of cash on the desk,
Yeah.
and Mr. Funeral Director would put it in a drawer, and they'd go get lunch. Like how the in-house financing option doesn't work really well anymore,
Mm.
right?
Oh gosh. So I hear it all the time. Where back in the day, a handshake was good as
Right.
gold, or
Yeah.
or
No
they would
handshakes right
barter.
now.
They
We're
would
not allowed
barter.
to. We're not even
Yeah,
allowed to
not we
shake
can't
hands.
even an elbow hit
Yeah.
would be good enough. But yeah, so it's just we're serving a different generation. I always joke with funeral directors and I say, The old school, families that we would serve, they had it together. They had savings in the bank. The man went off to work, the woman stayed home and raised the kids. But it's not that way anymore.
That's
It's
right.
just, it's a different era, and unfortunately we're all living off credit and a monthly payment option, and it's just the what's expected.
Right.
It's
It's
different,
it's the
so
norm. It is
it is the
absolutely
norm.
the norm. All right. So another question
Mhm.
here in the chat. Are there any hidden fees that would be added to the funeral bill? For example, orientation fees, etc.
So we have what we call APR, right? So that's going to be what they are paying back in interest and any processing fees that we charge. So with Lending USA, if a family pays off our loan within 6 months, we erase the interest and then the family just pays back our processing fee. So it's very similar to a pre-need. Every
Okay.
pre-need that's written, family has a period of time where they could pay this off, but they're going to pay a processing fee. So same kind of concept. Whenever somebody gets approved, we give them 2 terms to start. So they can start with either 36 or 60 months. Doesn't mean they're locked into that. We have a no prepayment penalty option. Let's say they couldn't pay it off within 6 months. Then maybe they paid it off in 9 months. Then they're only going to pay 9 months worth of interest. They're
Okay.
not locked into 36 or 60 months.
Very
So we
good.
have, yeah, we're very transparent, especially when a family's choosing their options. We have a display screen and it breaks everything down for them pretty much in black and white.
Beautiful. All right. Okay. So another question that was emailed to me.
Mhm.
So Heather asked, does Lending USA pull from all three credit bureaus?
So our main credit bureau that we work with is TransUnion. So yeah, it's a great question, Heather, but we use TransUnion primarily for all of our decisions.
Okay. And then Sarah just asked, are your lending services available in all states?
So there are a few states that we are not active in. Every state is different with regulations on
Sure.
APRs that are allowed to be charged to a consumer. So unfortunately, we wish we were available in all 50 states, but there are a few that we're excluded from. If you call in for information, our account executives will get you guys all that information, let you know. But hopefully, you're in a state we can work with.
Very cool. And so we'll put in the comments, and everyone that registered will also send out, the on-demand link to this as well. We'll put in there where the funeral home can go to get more information, how they connect with you.
Yeah, we even
Um,
have a direct line for them as well. So if anyone's listening, we have a direct line you could call into for info, and
okay.
it would be 1-855-804-9532. So call in. We have a team waiting to speak to you and get you all the information you need.
Awesome. And another one from Christy asks, do you know of a comparable lending company in Canada? Or are
Oh,
you
I
available in
do.
Canada?
Oh, I wish we were, but we're not in Canada. We are strictly in the United States right now. I don't know of one off the top of my head, but if I do get some information on that, I'll send it over to you, Ryan, so you can get that
Okay.
to her.
Awesome. All right. So I'm a funeral home. I'm watching this webinar, and right now, everything is chaos. However, I'm serving families that could benefit from payment options.
Mhm.
What's the process? How quick can I get up and running? How many steps is it? Is it a lot of work? Is it going to take day? Like, what's the
That's a great.
process?
So what we would do is say you contact us. We gather a few pieces of information. We have you submit an application to partner with us. We collect a simple voided check on where you want your payments to be deposited into, and we get an underwriting team to review your file and get you approved in just a few days. Then we schedule an onboarding call with one of our funeral team members, and we encourage a full team to be available on those calls if possible. Anyone who meets with families, even if you have a receptionist who's going to be answering those phones to give your families that information, whoever is available, we encourage a quick onboarding call for everyone. and then you're hit the ground running. We show you how to use the portal and all the resources available with our partnership. We have a couple integrations that we can offer you with partnerships through Osiris.
Mm,
If you need website banners up, we work hand in hand with all of these huge webmasters that we have in our space.
absolutely.
A quick access for your families to be able to go to your website and apply in private, and we get you free marketing material.
Okay, so there is a portal that can go right on the funeral home's website, or are you just linking
There's a
out to a portal?
It's actually a web banner, so it's
Okay.
real simple. The funeral home would pick the style they like, and it's accessible on their personal website for their families 24/7. And families can access that web banner whenever needed. So that's what's great about it
And
as
so
well.
families could apply prior to ever coming into the funeral home?
Exactly. So they could go on the funeral home's website directly, or if they go to lendingusa.com, they can apply at any time as well, and that's when they can select the merchant they're working with.
Super cool. Love it. All right. So we're getting kind of towards the end. And so we're going to give a period of time. If you have any questions, please drop them either in the chat on Facebook, or if you're on Zoom watching this live, just put it in the chat section and we'll ask Elaine those questions. But Elaine, there's probably some things that I didn't ask you as we were going through this. Like, what are some of those major questions? Like if you were at ICCFA next week and it was going on as planned, what are the questions you're going to get asked in the booth that you want to answer?
I think the most common questions we covered, so a lot of the funeral homes say, what is this going to cost me? So we don't have any fees that we charge monthly or annually. We are a free resource. Anytime we have a partner who joins on, we get you connected with everything we can for free. We do have a small fee that we charge when it's a borrower who falls into a certain tier of credit. So that's covered when we get you enrolled. We cover all that with you. Um, we get asked very commonly, what if somebody defaults? Are you going to take the money back? And we don't. We don't offer recourse to the loans that we're providing. And then let's see, I think another big selling point that we're always really proud of is that promo period. So 6 months, family can pay us off. We erase the interest. They just pay back our processing fee. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I mean, our team is available to help get everybody up to speed.
But your team is awesome. I've got to deal with a number of your teams through partnerships that we've worked on together. You have a fantastic team.
Yeah,
And I
we
think
do. We really do have a close-knit group.
I think one of the coolest things though is that you've got a lot of team members that are dealing with funeral homes that are from the profession. Like they started their career either as a funeral director
Yeah.
or something. So like they've got that empathy and
Oh yeah, and
understanding.
that's one thing I think I pride myself in too, because there's a certain, I don't want to say lingo, but there's certain words that
There
we're
is,
able
there is. Come on, we got our own
the
speak.
our slang. No,
That's right.
the things that we're able to just relate on. And all of our team members have nothing less than 10 years experience in the profession. And we know, anytime we speak to a funeral director, we have nothing but the utmost respect for them, because the days are long. You don't
Yeah,
have the days
that's
off
right.
you deserve. Every family's different, so we have that extra compassion toward you as a funeral
Yeah.
professional, not just the family. So we do our best to support you. And I'm always available via email, so if anybody needs anything, it's just Elaine, ELAINE, at lendingusa.com. Please let me know how we can help you. We also have a email, funeral support at lendingusa.com, how you
Okay.
can reach our funeral team. But let us know how we can help you guys. We want to make sure you guys feel supported.
Love it. All right, Elaine, we've got two more questions that came through. Dennis asked, if I'm assisting a family by email and the
Mhm.
arranging family member resides in a different state, is Lending USA able to assist given they are not local with the funeral home making the arrangements?
That's a great question. So that's another beauty of having us as an online platform. We have that scenario happen very often, where a family member is going to be traveling in from another state, but they're going to be the one financially helping with everything. So that can be possible. You can
Mhm.
have a feature where you can say, go to my website and apply, or we can create a special link that the funeral director can email to a family member. We even have a feature I didn't mention. I'm sorry about this. We have a text to apply feature. where
Okay.
in the portal, funeral director can log into their customized portal we create for them, and they can themselves text a link to the family to be able to apply. So no matter what state they're in, as long as they're a state we're working in, then they can get a link to apply.
Very good. Very
They
good.
don't have to
Okay.
be there in person.
Kathy asks, are there specific requirements, considerations for a firm to become a partner?
Ask that one more time.
Are there specific requirements or considerations for a firm to become a partner?
That's a great question. So we do request that the business has been active and open for at least a year.
Okay.
What's interesting about that, I think most funeral homes are pretty seasoned veterans.
Yeah, you got that covered most of the time.
We get some new ones, but you need to be in business at least 1 year, and we need you to have a valid website. So,
Okay.
which I think most do, which is great. And
Yeah,
if you don't
hopefully
have a
by now.
website, let us know. We could direct you to someone to help get you one up. Okay.
That's right. And another question that was texted to me. Gosh, they're coming in from everywhere. This is good. Is there a fee associated with a lower credit score?
So that would probably fall into the scenario where we have what we call a merchant discount. So just like when you accept credit cards in your business, right? You're
Mhm.
getting charged a fee anytime someone's using a credit card to pay you. We have a fee whenever it's a higher risk borrower. So
Okay.
whenever somebody falls into, so we work off of 3 tiers of credit. So somebody falls into tier 1, tier 2, we're paying you 100% of the amount. Whenever it's a borrower that falls into tier 3, that means that's a higher risk borrower. So there may be things on their credit marking them higher risk. Maybe they have, high debt to income, or
Sure.
maybe they have a lot of, past due payments, things like that are flagging them a little riskier for us, because the chances are higher that we may not get paid back at all or in full.
Right.
So in those scenarios, we do have a merchant discount. If you are a part of a state association or the NFDA, we get you special pricing. So make sure to ask about that when you're
Okay.
speaking to an account executive. Our fees are a little better for state association and NFDA members, but even then, our fee isn't huge. It's 6% is what we charge the business. And in those scenarios where you get charged a merchant discount, what we recommend is, and in all scenarios, really, you can finance just service fees and merchandise. That way you can have your families pay the cash advances out of pocket.
Hmm.
Because we know cash advances are everything. Most of the time you're paying out more of a customer
Right.
service factor. It's nothing
Yep.
you're making any profit on. So that way when you're writing off that 6% on the back end, you're not writing it off on the whole contract,
Yeah.
just service fees, merchandise, cash advances,
That's a
collect
good
upfront.
point. That's a really
Yeah.
good point. And is there a list of states that you are not available in somewhere, or is that something that
Yes,
you
so
can call
it's
in?
actually on our main LendingUSA
Okay.
website. If you scroll toward the bottom, it shows what states that we're not operating in. But call in, we'll get you connected with our account executives, and they'll gladly get you all that info.
Super cool. Okay, Elaine, like this has been awesome. I love it when we can just kind of go live unscripted and I can
Yeah, yeah.
fire questions. And there's been a lot of good questions that have come through this. Is there anything that you want to cover that we didn't hit on that you can think of?
No, I think if you call in, you guys will see it's easy to join partnership with us. We look forward to it. We love our new partners. We love our existing partners. We may even have someone listening who has been enrolled with us, but maybe they just haven't gotten active with us. You need a refresher course. Let us know how we can get you
Okay.
guys going with us. But we look forward to working with you.
Very good. Okay, Elaine, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being a part of this live stream. And gosh, stay safe wherever you are, because you're all remote as we are here in Ohio as
Mhm.
well. And as probably most that are watching this are home or somewhere in a funeral home, kind of hunkered down and keeping social distancing. So I think this is an insanely timely topic right now to be discussing. And I really appreciate you guys be willing to come on and kind of have an
Oh
unscripted
yeah.
chat.
There's no better time, I think, especially right now, to have a payment option available for a family. You're going to have your families that are going through so much already, just emotionally with the loss of someone, and in addition to that, just any kind of financial hardship, or just needing some flexibility during a very uncertain time. You
Yeah.
know, use us as an advantage, as a resource for your business. We're here to help, and let's get you guys secured payment.
Awesome. And so Elaine's going to kick me over the link where you can go, and the phone number and her email address, and we'll put that in the comments on Facebook, and in the email that'll go out to everyone who's registered with the recording. So, all right, Elaine, thank you.
Thank you
Have a
guys.
great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. You guys take care.